Today, Wayne and I are going to talk about indigenous Marxism, socialism, communism. We're going to get into an introduction of what all those things are and what the Métis history is with these things. Today, we'd really just like to combat the whole concept of cultural imperialism and just get into reintegrating our political roots as a people. For the unaware, let's talk about what Marxism, socialism, and communism are. What is the difference between these terms?
You promised you would give me some easy questions, so I'm unsurprised that the very first one is, what's Marxism? Marxism, we could say, refers to the political philosophy of Karl Marx, 19th century German of Jewish ancestry, who lived in Germany, France, and then ultimately in England. And you could kind of divide his philosophy up according to those geographic areas. And there's a part in Marx where throughout his life, he's concerned with journalism. In fact, that's what he basically does to pay the bills. But when he's not paying the bills and doing journalism, he's usually in a library, specifically the British Library, studying political economy, but also French socialism as well. So socialism isn't the same thing as Marxism necessarily. In fact, socialism precedes Marxism by at least a couple centuries, and arguably we could understand the roots of socialism in 17th century utopian thought following the English Civil War. So the point that I want to get across is simply that socialism is something that overspills Marxism. It's something that precedes Marxism, and it's something that Marxism entered into, and it's something that he tried to change. And now this is where we get to the difference, because Marx came onto the scene in a time of incredible change. Capitalism was on the rise. The colonial world system was rapaciously spreading across the world. And in a small corner of the world, a thing called capitalism was starting. A very small corner of the world, an island, in fact, called England. And what Marx thought was that this small mode of production, so far isolated to a small island on a corner of the world, would one day spread to become the world system. And he was completely correct. He was absolutely correct. Capitalism is today the world system, and it is something that communists want to replace. Communists want to turn Marx's political philosophy into a political project, specifically the project of abolishing class distinctions. And that is the crucial difference between Marxism, for example, and socialism, is that Marxism came onto the scene late with socialism and sought to change it. What he specifically sought to change was to take something which was formerly utopian and ideological and turn it into a political program based on abolishing capitalism, which he reduced to the concept of private property.